Hey guys, KillerPigeon coming at you with day number 26 in this daily vlog cycle, and we have just finished wrapping up another day of WePlay Pushka League games, day 14, and getting close to the end of that group stage. We're now starting to get a shape of how the leaderboards are looking, who's going to make it, who might not, and we just had 3 series today. We opened up with Nigma versus OG, where OG dumpstered Nigma, ran them over, destroyed them, kaplowed them. It was pretty convincing. 31-minute game and then a 23-minute game, which means that Nigma are now sitting 1-3, very likely to be eliminated. Their only hope is to win the 2 remaining series, and they're going to need their opponents in Team Liquid, Ninjas in Pajamas, and Team Secret to not score extra points. So it's looking like Nigma might be out of this. It's a chance in hell, and they are at the mercy of other teams now. As OG, even though they're eliminated, they refuse to go down without scoring at least 1 series, as they are now 1-4 matching OG seed, who both are already eliminated. And then moving on quickly, we had Na'Vi versus Virtus.Pro. This is where I came in on the panel. I was hosting for that one. Virtus.Pro Prodigy did take the first game, and it looked pretty damn good as well. They had this Skywrath, which applied a lot of aggression in the offlane in conjunction with a Pangolier. Really slowed the Morphling down. And also, Na'Vi had this reliance on a Clinks in game 1 up against 3 sources of Disarm. So there was already inherently the Fate's Edict plus the Lucky Shot from both the Oracle and the Pangolier, but then the Kunkka rushed towards a Heaven's Halberd, which meant that this Clinks really wasn't able to have early impact. On top of that, later in the game, Pangolier picks up a Heaven's Halberd as well. It just felt like Na'Vi were never really able to pop off. But also, just picking Morphling right now feels way too slow, and that's exactly what we saw when in game number 2, Virtus.Pro Prodigy decided to try the Morphling out. Did not work out for them. 26-minute victory in that one for the side of Na'Vi, who fought pretty damn well in the first game. In the second game, really just slammed home an aggressive, pretty potent draft. They had magical full comfort zone with his Templar Assassin, and then also they had a perfect clockwork game. You're up against this team that really didn't have heroes that could build into 4-star, but you really felt like you needed it. So you know, this clockwork's up against a Skywrath, he's up against a Mars, a Witch Doctor, Dragon Knight. No one is really able to itemize to deal with the clock. And this Axe got a free lane, which allowed Na'Vi to propel out of the lanes towards an early ramp up, leading into a quick Roche, which resolved in a 27-minute game in their favor. But then you go to game number 3, where actually, looking at the drafts, you probably favor Na'Vi, right? So Virtus.Pro Prodigy pick a their round out on their draft was Pugna Undyne after revealing PL that instantly got counter-picked by Na'Vi's Leshrac. On top of that, they had this Troll Warlord, this Centaur, coupled with an Oracle and a Skywrath. The Oracle of Skywrath, by the way, for Na'Vi should be able to burst heroes down very early, because you actually have that magic amp that's pretty vicious. There's a lot of nuke damage early on, so it really shouldn't have been as good as it was for Virtus.Pro Prodigy. But actually, props to them. The way they actually played after the first 10 minutes, 15 minutes, like even that early point, we saw Pugna out-rotating the Leshrac, taking early towers and giving space so that the PL could come online and become a force to be reckoned with. In the end, Virtus.Pro Prodigy did take that series 2-1, which means that Na'Vi now sitting 4-2, and Virtus.Pro Prodigy almost guaranteeing themselves a spot now. 3-1 is their score. They win 1 more, they're definitely through to the playoffs, but it's looking very promising considering Virtus.Pro Prodigy tomorrow have to face off against Bait, and then after that, the papa in the organization, which will be the Virtus.Pro #1 team versus the Prodigy team. But let's talk about Bait, because Virtus.Pro Prodigy is going to put up a good fight from tomorrow, judged by today, but Virtus.Pro gave Bait a spanking today, as Bait's suffering, I will call it suffering, I think that's the only word to use for it, continues in this group stage, as they still have not won a single game, let alone series. Now sitting at the bottom of the CIS group, 0-4. While there's still a chance that they could qualify, it's based on results from other teams as well, and them winning all the remaining series. And considering right now, I'd say Virtus.Pro Prodigy, you know, we're going to have to see if they're doing better than Virtus.Pro on the May the 5th when they face off against each other. Right now, Prodigy definitely looking very dominant. It's unlikely Bait are able to take that series after they just got spanked by Virtus.Pro in a very convincing 2-0 fashion. Game 1, VP had the Holy Trinity. They got their hands on the Shadow Demon, the Mars, and the Phoenix. Really unstoppable force. And Bait, well, they round up their draft from Underlord after they had to go for a Juggernaut that felt forced by the heroes of VP. They never really addressed the issues that VP was bringing, which is off the back of the Holy Trinity I talked about. They had this Shadow Fiend, this Lycan that can work so well together when backed by this body unit that is the Mars, that is this Phoenix. Because you just get that easy early push off the Lycan, which then transitions so naturally when you get to level 15 on the Shadow Fiend, he gets access to the Presence Aura talent. And then you just continue to ramp up pressure. And while Bait did hold on for a while. The 30-minute mark, they finally crack. Game 1 goes to VP. And then in game number 2, we see VP come out with what looks like a dominant draft, but at first is in Bait's favor because they get their hands on this Bristle, this Coral, and then they start running out with some clunky stuff as they end up doing an Ancient Apparition mid with Dendi on it again, which just did not work out very well. We started to see that as the game went on. You just kept seeing Rezo get picked off on his Necrophos in the mid, but Bait were never able to actually convert it into an objective. Instead, it was just always space so that VP could farm on their 2 big cores, which is the Templar Assassin and the Gyrocopter. And you just saw this awkward disparity, right? So you on the side of Bait, you had this Pango and this Bristle able to farm, but then there's AA, who's just reliant on kills. If he's not getting kills, how the hell is he ever getting gold, right? And that's where the net worth disparity really started to grow, because every time they kill this Necrophos, you're actually watching as it would tick up from 1 to 2 to 3 to 4k lead for VP. And once they decided to group up and take fights, the net worth swing was absolutely huge and overwhelming in favor of Virtus.Pro. Bait, things still looking shaky. They just don't seem to actually be able to find their groove. Hopefully, they'll learn something from this. Maybe they'll find a consistent roster. Maybe that we're going to see a permanent movement in with Skylark Spawn. I don't think so. I think they just need to like get the Ghost Stick and King R back and really just sit down and work out what the problems are with the team. Do they need to like try switching up captain, try switching up drafter for a bit? We've seen previous teams, previous iterations of VP and Nigma. These types of teams do this occasionally to see if that's the problem. They just need to either they're figured out or they need to figure something out themselves. It definitely feels like Bait is in that second category right now. I wouldn't want to see these guys just completely disband, but I think whether it's a really skilled coach or maybe bringing in someone who brings a lot of captain's knowledge, they need something to change, and they change soon. They're now 18 losses in a row. It's looking gruesome for a former TI winner, and honestly, what seems like an awesome bunch of people around him. I would love to see them get some success. I don't think that's going to happen tomorrow because we open up with Bait versus Virtus.Pro Prodigy. I will not be on that series. In fact, I believe I'm only in for the final series tomorrow. So we'll work through this day. I'll give my predictions, seeing as is even more important. I won't be on panel. I get to give my little input. You'll be joined by a slightly more bulked and older version of me, which will be Banks. He'll be hosting for the first 2 series. I will be on the final. But the first 2 series, Bait versus Virtus.Pro Prodigy, I'm going to anticipate that's going to be a 2-0. I just think Bait has proven an inability to adjust to the current meta. Like their drafts, when you look at them, wouldn't be bad on the previous patch. But then even then, it comes down to the way they're executing, right? I don't know if I'd say as a team they're executing perfectly. Like they have some standout moments as players. It's just like Dota is so much more than that now. You just can't have a pub star stomp 5 other people. That's just not how it works at these tiers. And as a result, I expect Virtus.Pro Prodigy to take a 2-0 victory over there. They're just looking so damn clean, so crisp right now. I'm really not sure if FN's going to stay with the team. He said he's chosen to remain as a stand-in for the time being. Be interested to see if they can convince him to become a permanent addition, because I think he really does complete the Virtus.Pro Prodigy roster. Brings a lot of wisdom. You know, he's been around a lot longer than these younger players. He's a staple on the mid, and he really helps secure Epileptic Kid's game as the game goes on. Second series, though, is going to be Liquid versus OGC. Now, Liquid could really do with these points to just ensure that they are solidified, right? If they get this victory here, they'll be 4-2. At that point, no one can knock you out of contest. Whereas Nigma in this current situation, like when you consider the Team Liquid are 3-2, Ninjas and Charms are 3-1, and Team Secret is 3-1, maybe a scenario where Team Liquid could be bumped down. It's so unlikely, though. And the way Liquid are playing right now, it's hard to see a way in which OGC can beat them. I think Liquid are on fire. They're looking the best so far in this tournament, and they're looking amazing overall improvement. I think that's going to be a 2-0 as well. I think Liquid won't mess around. I think they just want to get their points, get it done with. Morale boost leaving the group stage, as that will be their final series, and that would give them the final score of 4-2, which is not too bad. And then the final series will be Hellraisers versus Team Spirit. Now, Hellraisers are already secure at the top. I'm going to be intrigued to see if they're going to experiment a little bit. Team Spirit really desperately need these points. They are seeing 1 win, 3 losses in the group stage, and this is one of 2 remaining series out to play, the other one being up against VP. There are no easy points for Team Spirit. Virtus.Pro Hellraisers consider some of the tougher opponents. They've got to turn up tomorrow, or they might as well just leave today. That doesn't make sense. They might as well leave tomorrow. But you get my point. Like, they need to really start to edge these points in. The problem is that Hellraisers are just playing such meta Dota right now. Like, they understand what they need to do their drafts. They understand the way they need to open flexibly, and they follow through. They complete their drafts, and that's something really tough to deal with. Is Team Spirit need to actually get past their drafts looking clean and crisp to begin with. I don't know if I'd say Team Spirit has looked that clean, but if they're going to turn up at any point, this would be the perfect time to do so. You need to try and take control. You know, you got early points from bait, and that's it. That's the only series that you won. You actually look at the previous ones, they at least took a game from Na'Vi, so they've shown that they can put up a fight, and I want to see if they can actually fight back against Hellraisers. I will anticipate that that's going to be, I think, a 2-1 victory in favor of Hellraisers. I'm going to say I could see a Team Spirit taking a game, but it's hard to see them taking a series. Let's hope that they can prove me wrong, though. Let me know what your thoughts are, my predictions anyway. Any sort of comments you have on the games you saw today, or what your thoughts are. I always love to hear from you guys. Make sure you subscribe to the channel because we're going to keep doing these every day. And then when there is no Dota on, we'll be doing all kinds of different subjects. We talked about, you know, esports, growing up, finding jobs, like all these things. I love to also have subjects that you guys want to hear about. And I like to have those ideas. You know, if you got a problem or whatever, or something you want to be enlightened about, let me know and I'll give my opinions. You can see how you feel afterwards, because that's what it's about. But that's going to be it. I'm going to round this one up. I want to go play some games of Dota. Considering I haven't got to be in early tomorrow, that gives me plenty of time to spam out Clinks 4 and spam some Spirit Break and maybe go for some Ursa 4 as well. Maybe I'll run into one of you in my pub games. If I do, I just want you to know I would really like the wins right now. Everything's looking a bit red. I could really help, please.